everybody. This is John for MTG Nexus coming at you with our 9th day of Midnight Modern streaming and our 2nd day in a row working on Lurrus Burn in Modern. As a friendly reminder, if you like Lightning Bolt-based content, especially in the Modern format, please consider subscribing to the channel, as we're aiming to become a Red Master at some point. So, those of you that may know, I am kind of known for Burn, kind of known for a few other things, but mainly Burn. And I think I've gotten away from that a little bit and kind of lost my identity here and there as a streamer. There's been a lot of decks that I like, a lot of, shiny new toys, Jund, Death Shadow, the Sultai Snow decks, decks in other formats, etc. I think it's time to get back to the roots, time to get back to the red decks, time to get back to the burn decks, the Prowess decks in Modern, focus on those. In Pioneer, kind of focusing on the Lurrus Burn deck and the Prowess deck that exists in that format. And then Legacy, I think Legacy is the one format that the content that I will produce might get away from Burn a little bit, mainly because I think I've kind of fallen in love a little bit with that Allurin deck, even if it's not the most popular of content. But it's a deck I enjoy, so it's a deck we'll probably see pop up every now and again. So while I'm not abandoning doing other stuff, whether it be, Death Shadow variants, Jund, etc. from time to time, I think for now we're going to focus on the Burn content. So that said, 2nd night in a row working on Burn. One thing I did make quite clear last night when I was working on this deck a little bit was I felt we needed a 20th land, so the 3rd mountains come back in. To make room for that, I've cut a Skullcrack from the main deck, moved it to the sideboard, cut a Core Firewalker, because while Core Firewalker is an amazing card in the Burn and Prowess mirrors, it is not really functional in a lot of other spots. It's a card that is there specifically for 1 or 2 matchups, and in those matchups it's amazing, but in the rest of the matchups, the only time you're really bringing it in is if you really expect your opponent to be really hard on Leyline of Sanctity, specifically usually out of the Ad Nauseam deck. Is pretty much the only one you're bringing in Core Firewalker in besides the Burn mirrors, and that's simply because you expect your opponent to have a specific tech that, unless you're going out of your way to play a card to beat it, is what it is. Beyond that, we're playing regular Lurrus Burn, no Incinerator again. It's not that I'm getting away from the Incinerator, it's just I want to have a much better baseline of what regular Burn's place in the current meta is. I don't necessarily think it is the best deck in the format right now. In fact, after last night's results, I would dare say it's definitely not. But it is a deck that you do need to have a baseline for the format and kind of have an idea of what the format is doing. So that end, playing a basic Burn deck, the only notable thing here is Lurrus in the sideboard. We're not tricking out the deck any type for it. So that said, let's get into the matches. I don't really have to go over deck tech for a deck we played last night, and if you're watching it on the YouTube channel, the little bit more in-depth of a deck tech was last night. I was just mainly going over what we had changed in the list from last night's stream. Once again, shout out to Ando1 for the Prime yesterday. Excited to be an affiliate, but let's get down to doing what we do on this channel, and that's bolting some people's faces. Unfortunately, we're going to get the draw here. Lurrus. So 3 lands. I think this hand's fine. Like, we have Guide into Eidolon. We are a little weak to creature matchups a little bit here, but I still think this is a keep. Looks like possibly a mirror match. That looks like we're up against Prowess. Okay. Well, our lack of creature removal might come back to bite us this game. So we'll see how that goes. Trigger. There's Soul Skirmage, okay. So what are the odds that the mono red deck that packs more removal than our deck won't have removal on turn 1 or 2 here? Alright, this is a little different. Alright, so they're burn, maybe with Soul Skirmage? On a red burn with Soul Skirmage? I'm doing well, how are you? Working on some more burn tonight. Not getting away from the other content, just think I need to go back to the core of what I've been doing. So, I think it's important. Let's see what happens. I don't think we're in good shape this game, but mainly because, as I noted in our opening hand, we are vulnerable to creatures and we have not drawn any of our abilities to remove creatures other than the one bolt we drew. Searing Blaze? Interesting. So you're saying we're dead, right? Basically. Well, that's good. I'm glad you're doing well. I have not. I'm going to Boros Charm them. I'm going to cast Eidolon, and basically, if they have anything, we're dead anyway, so it's an intriguing deck. The only problem is, are you referring to in a burn shell, or are you referring to in a presumably just flash us back and kill us, right? Okie dokie. Because there's both the kind of burnish shells with it, and there's the actual 5-color elemental shell. And so our opponent is playing a lot of burn cards, but they're also playing Soul Skirmage. So mono red burn with Soul Scar? I am confuzzled. Confuzzled, confounded, and not quite sure what's going on. So I'm not sure if I want smashes I'm not sure if I want paths. I have not. Up until very recently, I've been kind of reluctant to go away from traditional burn variants, and Skelemental was definitely outside of traditional burn. The issue I would have with Skelemental is I think it's much like Chandra's Incinerator. You really have to build around the deck to leverage it. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm thinking like things like Unearth or that kind of stuff might be necessary. This hand is... Oh, okay. I thought this hand had 4 lands at first, and I'm like, okay, 4-land hand, not great. Oh, wait, 3-land hand, Core Firewalker, Snap, keep here. Get Suspend Riftbolt on 1, kill their 1-drop, drop Core Firewalker, and see what they're playing. We have our one of Smash to Smithereens here. Should they happen to be playing Dragon's Claw. So outside of like double Dragon's Claw into a bunch of fun stuff, we're good. I don't know if I agree with playing Soulscar here, especially into a known Riftbolt. I'd almost rather take this Riftbolt to the face, but unless they're playing like Mutagenic Growth or something. Alright, well. See if our opponent has a white splash or something. It could very well have a small white splash for like Path. Nope, they're just mono red. Okay, they have the Claw. Have you had any experience with it? Oh, Lord. Obvious. Nothus. Like, I haven't dabbled in Rakdos in quite some time, so... And even if they have, like, a Kozilek's Return here, we, like... can eventually Lurrus the darn thing back. And then we have the things. I haven't seen a ton of Fluffy Wolf's content, so I'm not saying it isn't fun. I'm just... What you got here, friend? Trigger. It's a land. Num. Lands. Lands are good. Swizzle Spear is excellent here. It's a gain 1. So we could go face, but it's so much nicer to just like take their ability to win the game off the battlefield. Continue to chunk in with damages here. So probably for game 3, going to want to bring in another copy of Smash, maybe. At least one more, maybe 2 more. Are they going face? No, they're going... Okay. I was like, face doesn't make sense here, because Shock is not a playable Magic card. Especially at 23 life. Okay. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. This might be a setup for a Lutz. Light up the stage! Okay, no Lutz. It's gonna hold the fetch land. So I don't think their version plays Reality Hemorrhage, so it's just like Kozilek's Return I'm playing around. Let me just do the thing. I don't think there's anything I'm playing around here. Alright. So Sandy Dog is having a mono red list. Curious. Red aggro. Must have been a tweet or something, because he hasn't played any mono red things here on... Seeing like goblins and is it Blitz? Probably want the second Smash. So we definitely don't need to worry about... Well, it's card advantage, but it's really kind of... eh? It's kind of hard to explain. Second Smash. Do we really want to go the third Smash, or just like bring in like a Skull Crack? We just bring in a Skull Crack. Could bring in a Boros Charm at 2, I suppose. Bring in one Boros Charm. It is, but at the same time, I don't know. Like, Light Up the Stage makes sense in Prowess decks. It really doesn't make sense in straight up burn decks. This hand is reasonable, but it's going to be very painful. I think we bolt on 1, Eidolon on 2, or bolt on 1, Helix on 2. So once again, want to answer your opponent's creatures. Eidolon, maybe I should have boarded out an Eidolon or 2 on the draw. Not a huge fan of that card on the draw. Especially in the burn mirrors, but this is, I don't know, they're a burn deck, but they're also a prowess deck. I don't even know. Okay, suspending a Rift Bolt, sure. So I'm actually going to play a Swift Spear here. So there was actually a decision point that needed made there. Do I take the extra 2 points of damage to fetch up a Sacred Foundry there in case we hit a core? Going face. Okay, so Sully, yep, Searing Blaze. I'm going to say Searing Blaze is the only card that makes sense here. Punished. Punished, punished, punished. Do you have another Searing Blaze? Bolting Face. Okay. Skewer Face. Sure. That is really, really awkward. This to 3, back to 6, and then we're dead to any 3 damage spell regardless. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna lose here. This is why I don't like Eidolon on the draw, especially. Mistakes were made. Kind of rough there, losing the mirror. On to the next match. Robber of the Rich is too slow in Modern. It could be playable in Pioneer and Historic, but it's too slow for Modern. We're on the draw. guess we keep his hand. Once again, we do have the same weakness, no interaction for creature decks. Never mind, we're playing against a blue deck, so I probably want all these creatures anyway. Leading on Goblin God here. Goblin God feeding them lands. I guess the one deck I could potentially see Robber of the Rich working in Modern is some style of 8 whack deck, maybe. Alright, we're just going for can you, can't stop, won't stop. This stop. Triggers. Cryptic command. Cryptic command. Sure. Grab a basic mountain. Hopefully you don't have main deck timely reinforcements. Gonna play this main phase to force them, if they have a Snapcaster, they'd have to play it. Now we're obviously in some trouble against a Supreme Verdict, but they've recently gone down on the number of Supreme Verdicts, and I'm not playing around it, and we're starting to play into a situation where both Cryptic Commands and Batter Skulls are a thing. And even then, Ash Zealot is a card that doesn't really see play in Modern. And it's a sideboard card in Pioneer. Like, I'm not saying there couldn't be a home for it. I'm just simply saying it's a card that, I am honestly surprised they let that resolve. They have not used that Flooded Strand yet, so I am going to bolt you. See if they negation this. They're thinking about it, so, yep, seems like they have the Force of Negation. Which is funny, because it only really saves them 1 life. What did they pitch? They pitched an Opt. I think I'm just going to hold up Boros Charm in case they try a Supreme Verdict. It's kind of free to do so, really. Cryptic lock engaged. Are you having fun? Because I know I am. Sure. Sure, just let them use their mana. Tap all creatures, draw a card. In response, I would like to Boros Charm you. In response, you concede. Okily dokily. So it looks like we're just up against standard blue-white control. So I really want to test the relics. Definitely want to bring in the skull cracks. And a partridge and a pear tree. Searing Blazes can likely come out. They can hit Snapcaster Mages, which are anywhere between 2 to 4 cards in their deck. If they are a Stoneforge Mystic deck, this is worse for us to board some of these out. Yeah. And this could still be Sharkblade, we're not sure. But I'm boarding as if it's straight blue-white for the moment. Probably get out Lightning Helix? Question mark. Actually, it might be a Riftbolt. Because if they're on 3 Fairy, this card can get really bad. Wow, that's a hand. I don't think we can keep this hand. Basically, that hand just wasn't aggressive enough. Definitely keeping this one. Probably bottoming Lightning Helix. This hand's a little bit soft to timely reinforcements, but there's not a whole lot we can do about that. Actually, one thing we can start doing is chunking away our life total a little bit here with these Sunday Canyons. Curious if they have Path to Exile or they're just bluffing. They had like an opt. Yeah, I mean, that's a hand. Could get Ether Gusted here. Just old-fashioned spell snare. Okay. Alright, well, I mean... Timely reinforcements obviously becomes a problem here. Looks like they're stuck on lands, perhaps. Alright. Not the best of draws, but not the worst of draws. Okay, so we do know they're on one of the terrible variants of blue-white control now, because Hall of Heliod's Generosity. Obviously, if this has if they have timely, we're in some trouble. But you know, what can you do? Timely reinforcements. Hopefully, they're going for like a Teferi here. Teferi, 5 fairy. That is, not 3 fairy. Well, looks like you're old school blue-white, and it looks like you're dead. Alright. Nice to get the 2-0. Those have been kind of elusive of late. I, for one, am happy to see old school blue-white control back in the format. Why? Because that is a far more manageable matchup for Burn than Uro Pile 1, Uro Pile 2, Uro Pile 3, Uro Pile 4, and Uro Pile 5. Abyssius? Is that how you pronounce it? Lord, I'll get that right at some point. So, Nimble Obstructionist of all cards in a Prowess deck? Is that like a one of, or do you play more? 1, 2, 3, 4 lands. On the draw. Latin. Nice. Opponent is mulliganing. I don't like 4-landers. I really, 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 really hate 4-landers. Like, they're terrible. We have 2 can lands, and we have a Goblet Guide. I think I'm going to keep this hand, but it is this hand is a gamble. Massive, massive gamble. But I'm going to keep. Yeah, the lands do cycle, but the selling... Oh, yeah. That, So... It depends on which Tron variant this is. If this is Eldrazi Tron, we're going to get dumpstered. If this is... Nope, it's Eldrazi Tron, so we're likely to get dumpstered here. Because our entire hand's about to be locked out. Or they're just going to play... Alright, so... We're getting Thought Knot Seared next turn, so I am just going for maximum damage. Because otherwise they would have played Maze Mind Tome here. This gets all the 1-drops out of our hand, reduces our... That is not a card I wanted to see. Yeah, E-Tron's just a rough matchup, period. Like, this starts pretty good for us. So they're trying for Tron. That's interesting. Although we're getting TKS'd here. There's no other reason they kept that hand. Has to be TKS, yep. Take our only relevant card. Goblin Guide's not the best here. It's not the worst, but it's not the best. 'Cause I wanna be the very best. Like no one ever was. Please don't betray me. Please don't betray me. Okay, so they're getting another TKS out of this deal. Okay, we're dealing 3 here, and that'll be the last damage our creatures do the rest of the game. That will be the last 3 damage. That'll be the last damage our creatures deal this game. 'Cause I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. Unless they play something stupid here, no, they're definitely playing TKS. Which they know is going to miss, but it's still 4/4 body. Yeah, you knew it was going to miss because I played my only spell. We can steal this game where I feel a lot better about this matchup. Ugh, that's a terrible draw. Pass. Most of their draws are pretty reasonable in this spot. If they hit Tron, their hand gets even better. Maze Mind Tome would at least deal them 2 damage. They could play No, they would have played Reality Smasher last turn if they had it. Okay. So Walking Ballista for 2. That's the I don't want to lose to Eidolon hand, our card. Triggers. Maze Mind Tome. Maze Mind Tome. Gonna get a little bit more information here. Sure. Still fine. Gonna choose a bit of an unusual play here. Go with Indestructible. Doesn't deal them any damage, so maybe that was foolish. Yeah, I forgot that that's not dealing any damage. That play was just too fancy. Karn the Great Creator. Probably have something dumb in their sideboard that we can't beat. Out? I mean, it's beatable. No, I'm going to keep drawing Eidolons, though. Well, they might, but they don't have a 6 land yet. That was dumb. They can't attack this turn. Oh, that becomes a creature for their turn. Alright, this game is done. So if I Boros Charm their face, they go to 4 there. We don't deal any damage with our creatures. We draw an Eidolon, play it. We draw the Skewer, play it, they go to 1. Guess we would have more top decks if I don't get fancy. But I still think we're probably a dog at that point. Eidolon's just a terrible Magic card in this matchup. Searing Blazes also are not exciting. So just bring the 2 Skull Cracks and go down the Searing Blazes. Like, they can kill Reshaper, they can help to kill a Thought Knot sometimes. This hand's fine. Not exciting, it's fine. Probably also should have put Lurrus in my hand at some point last game. Don't know that would have made a huge difference. And we hand them an Eldrazi Temple. Okay. Because that's always what they want to see. Fourth land is not ideal here. It's possible I should be fetching the Thin there. Something to note. I've done... If you check out the YouTube channel, I've done a lot of work with Chandra's Incinerator. It's a perfectly fine Magic card. It adds more power, but less consistency to burn. So, it does make certain matchups like Eldrazi Tron better, but it comes at a setup cost. So, and if they have Natty Tron, then we're just kind of pwned here. Thought Knot Seer, Thought Knot Seer. Hopefully we draw a non-instant or a non-sorcery, non-creature card, whether it be a land or not. Alright, land isn't the worst here. So either that's an oops, or our opponent has both their wastes in their hand. Just gonna get this Skewer the Critics out of our hand while we can. Yeah, it potentially deals 1 less damage than it could next turn. Blah, blah, blah. But I really don't want to die to Eldrazi Tron in ways I don't have to. Okay, so Reality Smasher. Nope. Expedition map. Okay. Chalice on 1. Go. Get to put our opponent to 1. but 1 is not 0. So remember how I said last turn that if we're missing out on a point of damage if I play the skewer then. So we will see if that comes back to bite us. Our opponent will now have Tron all in line. Tron. What you got, what you got, what you got? Okay. Do you have like a bottle gnomes or something? Snaring birds wouldn't do it here. Walking Ballista could be the play. Yeah, Walking Ballista for 1. Yep. You got a blocker. You got a blocker. You got a blocker. Hey, hey, hey. And our 1s are locked out, so we need to draw something good. Okay, that's something good. Bang. Now, can we steal one on the draw? So we had 7. We had 21 outs there, of which we played a skewer. Have we played 3 skewers that game, or was that game 1? No, we played 3 skewers, so we had 18 outs there that were lethal of 50 suns. We had about a 40% chance there to hit a game winner. How's everybody else doing tonight? I hope you're enjoying the content. If you are, please consider giving us a follow here. That'd be greatly appreciated. And if you're really liking the content and you have Twitch Prime, please consider using your Twitch Primes here on the stream. This hand is interesting. It is cold as ice to Chalice on 1, but otherwise is a pretty reasonable functional hand. And Eldrazi Tron keeping 7 usually means bad news. Bad news bears for the Burn team. Alright, so it looks like they're on a Tron hand. Hopefully they just play a Tron piece to pass turn and then hope to go nuts on turn 3. That would be best case scenario for us. But it looks like we're going to Chalice on 1. Yep. Nope, it looks like we're actually getting hit by Matter Shaper. Alright, so I don't think Ghost Quarters are very frequent in the Tron deck, or E-Tron, so I'm just going to do this, and am I pathing them? Or am I bolting face? I guess I'm just bolting face here. Like, pathing them just feels really bad if they turn around and hit us with a TKS. Once again, being on the draw, this is a terrible spot for us in this matchup. With a hit. Hit a Thought-Knot Seer, so we are definitely getting TKS next turn. Which means they most likely have to take the Path to Exile. Yep. Yes. Yes, they do. Not all, but some variants play Simian Spirit Guide. So yes, there are some variants that do have the ability to Chalice on one. Reality Smasher, sure. Am I supposed to Chalice, or not Chalice here, am I supposed to Smash here, or am I supposed to Boros Charm? Guess we just Boros Charm here. Path to Exile would be like fantastic here. They have Chalice, so I'm really going to regret this, but I think we're just supposed to give ourselves outs. Problem is, if we don't top deck Boros Charm or Path to Exile, we're just dead next turn anyway. 5, go to 8. No, yeah, I guess we're dead next turn if we don't top deck one of those two things. So, annoying thing about E-Tron, right? Like, do they have a Chalice? Chalice on 1. Walking Ballista for 1. Sure. Chalice on 1. Chalice on 1 isn't relevant here. Yeah, we can't. No way to stay alive here. This is why E-Tron's such a rough matchup, is even when they don't have an early Chalice, we can struggle to beat their good draws. Guess I'd love to play first. One, two, three. So I'm an idiot. I guess Ballista would have taken care of that line anyway. But the turn that I passed and did nothing, I needed to put Lurrus into my hand, and then putting Lurrus into my hand would have allowed me to cast... I guess Swift Spear wouldn't have mattered there, but would have bought me another draw step. And then we would have had more outs. So yeah, I don't think it mattered in the end, but I think I definitely forgot about my companion. And it definitely hurt. Leave it over here, that way I don't forget about it anymore. Guess we'll just hold up Bolt here. Could have played a fetch land, thin the deck, get a... Oh, for Lord's sake. I hate Eldrazi Tron, if you hadn't guessed. Why is there so much freaking Eldrazi Tron? Yeah. Okay, so maybe we're not playing against Eldrazi Tron. Could we be playing against the fabled colorless Eldrazi deck? Or is it just E-Tron with some mutabolts? The world may never know. Smasher, Smasher Man. Our opponent is a Smasher Man. Pitch this to that, block there, take a bunch and like it like we own it. Alright, rough league. Nope, it's Eldrazi Tron, they're just playing Mutavault, okay? Sure. So we are taking 5 here, going to 3. We Searing Blaze the Reality Smasher and hope to top deck a burn spell. think we hold land in hand. At least bluff like we have something. Maybe they won't fire off the Mutavault. Never mind, they're just gonna Thought Not Seer us, and it really doesn't matter. Okay. Would have gotten there the next turn. Again, bring in the smashes, bring in the paths. Bring in the skull cracks, although I'm not a huge fan of them in this matchup, just because Searing Blaze and... Do we reevaluate Searing Blaze in the presence of Mutavault, though? Maybe I leave in 2. This hand has no pressure. It's really hard to bolt, or to lightning bolt Eldrazi Tron out of the game, so I'm going to mulligan for that reason. This hand's terrible, but I still think it's a keep. Alright, so looks like our Goblin God's dealing 6 damage here. Attack, force them to use the Dismember. Hope we don't give them a land in the process. Yes, I already know you're dismembering this. It's kind of whatever. Power plant. Okay. I think from a mana standpoint, I just cast one of the 2 mana spells. I like to get Riftbolt out of my hand, but at the same time, just don't second Eldrazi Temple into Thought Not Seer. Alright, so it doesn't matter, Reshaper. By that I mean it's pressure, it's still a 3-power creature on turn 2, but not the most threatening play they could have on turn. Turn 2. So if memory serves correctly, no, we actually won the die roll last game and we still lost. Okay. Like we're getting TKS post-combat. Okay. If that's the case... Oh, never mind. They're just going to activate map next turn. Just kind of whatever. I guess I could have held land there. Might have made them play in a slightly different way. I doubt it, but it could have. So, man, they're really having a dirtle kind of hand in this game, aren't they? Oh, yeah. Dirtle. That said, we still need to top deck well here. Okay. I mean, it's a card. It's a magical card. Hopefully they don't have, like, whatchamacallit here. Alright, we're just gonna pass. Nothing going on here. Nothing going on here. You know you want to crack a map. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We're smashing to success. Oh, yeah. Okay. So maybe they can mulligan to 3, not keep an Eldrazi hand, and we win the 3rd game. Sounds good? Yeah, we've already lost to your deck twice. We're good. We're good. You could like concede this one. We're good. Slip on a banana peel, hit your head, get knocked out for 10 minutes. Something. Nah. Okay. Still not sure about these Searing Blazes. So once again, I don't condone violence on our opponent, and also I don't like Searing Blaze against Eldrazi Tron. However, they've shown us Mutavault. Oh, not a 7-card Eldrazi hand. Can't you guys ever mulligan? Why can't you be like Papatron and actually mulligan once in a while? This hand's good, but weak to Chalice. I mean... or turn 2 Thought-Knots here, which is certainly a thing that could happen. Spatial Contortion. Alright. Please just hold up Spatial Contortion. Sweet. So you're saying there's a chance. We will spike you. Spike you. You will kill this Goblin God. Goblin God. No chance to give you a card. Nope. Thought-Knot Seer. Thought-Knot Seer does whatever a Thought-Knot Seer does. We're going to bolt in response here. They're probably going to take Boros Charm. We're going to like it. And we just gotta hope to outdraw them. Yep. Oof. Oof. It's not looking good for the home team. What's up, I'm Baby Dragon? How are you? I'm too busy reliving the recurring nightmare that is Eldrazi Tron versus Burn. Eldrazi Tron meet Burn. Burn meet Chalice. Burn meet Thought-Knot Seer. So the lines of play we have is skewer the critics our opponent. Pretty simple. Put Lurrus into our hand. Hope to go Lurrus Goblin God next turn. what are the pros? What are the cons? Putting Lurrus into our hand exposes it to Thought-Knot Seer. If we just skewer them, a second Thought-Knot Seer hits nothing. Skewer gets better if we draw another spell anyway. So I think I'm just going to put Lurrus in my hand. If that's the case, I should have just played the mountain. That way I didn't take an extra point of damage there. Okay. So I'm curious. Curious George. Curious little monkey. He's as curious can be. What kind of hand did you keep that has no play on... Oh. Chalice no bueno. Alright, if you're going to trade a land to kill my creature, I am perfectly okay with this exchange. Okay, got another Mutavault. So gonna Chalice on one. Okay. Gonna hold back your Thought-Knot Seer. This is actually a rough spot, huh? No, actually it's not. I mean, so we Searing Blaze, kill the dude. Do this. Draw a card. Don't attack with Lurrus here. What is in your hand? What is in your hand? Like, legit, asking for a friend. Is your hand, like, all expensive crap? Fire up your Mutavault. Fire up your Mutavault. Mutavault, ho! Are we gonna get there? Are we gonna get there? Are we gonna get there? Oh my god! Is this what it feels like to beat an Eldrazi Tron deck? Oh my god! We did it! We did it! I know. I'm getting way too excited over a win over Eldrazi Tron. Yeah, I suspect his hand's a bunch of clunky stuff. Which, most of the time lately, Eldrazi Tron hasn't been getting punished for those type of draws. And they did keep 7. Whoop, there it is. Whoop, we won a match. I know. Shouldn't be so excited about a win against Eldrazi Tron, but I am. one more match here in this league. Okie dokie, artichoke. Yeah, but Debo 4, definitely that could have been what's in their hand. Another card could have been, it could have had Endbringer or All Is Dust stuck in their hand as well. So, all of the above are certainly possible lines of thing they could have had. Can we be on the play here? We are not. Alright. We are up against the famous Darth Tannen. Okie dokie. So, we're on the draw. We have a bolt, a spike, a skewer, 3 lands. The sand is keepable, but not fantastic. Has one more land than we usually like, and no aggressive turn 1 play. Oh my. Well, we drew the aggressive turn 1 play. But we drew another really tough matchup. Ballista. So are you on the the Karn the Great Creator bandwagon, or are you on the more traditional version of the deck? Ugh. So for those of you that don't know why I'm wincing, it's because Magic cards. Do I offer the trade here? I feel like I just offer the trade. Because they have nothing to graft this onto, so... I'm happy for the 2 damage. I'm happy to get that off the board. Board's back at parity, so we play Eidolon. Because actually the only other paper deck I own right now for Modern is actually Green Tron. Is this the Fabled Walking Ballista? Ew, they're playing Metallic Mimic. Seems bad. I guess they could play this and then play Walking Ballista for 0. Yeah, that seems a little rough. Okay, they chose Construct. Okay, I'm not losing my marbles. They could have played Walking Ballista here. Just want to make sure I wasn't losing me marbles, Captain. Yeah, I haven't played Paper Magic. I've played since last September when my work schedule changed. I've played exactly 2 paper tournaments. I played a PTQ down in Columbus for Modern. And then I played a Pioneer local event. Like the week before COVID shut everything down. Which is kind of crazy. We got very lucky this game to win, I think, because game 1 is the game we have to win in this matchup. Because, at least traditionally, Hardened Scales is packing 4 copies of Nature's Claim. Alright, so we definitely want the smashes, even though they're not always the best. Bunch of paths. Eidolon's typically not very good, especially on the draw. Skullcrack is probably the alternative card. So. Alright. This hand has a lot to offer. Just rented Tron to play on mtgotavern and Companions, Agent of Treachery, or Wording Standard. Got a mulligan. This is the 1-land trap hand. This hand's pretty decent. Probably put back... Tron twice. Okie dokie. So... Blaze is reasonable, Skullcrack is reasonable, Riftbolt is reasonable. Our progressions are most likely Goblin Guide, Monastery Swiftspear, Suspend Riftbolt, or Goblin Guide, play Searing Blaze. So I'm just debating what card we're putting back. We're definitely keeping. I feel like Skullcrack with this hand. It's going to be a lot harder to hold that up in the face of standard result Teamer Wreck. Well, I hate to say it, the Rec decks are playable in Modern, too. I don't think there's a single format where Reclamation is not currently a viable strategy. Ancient Stirrings. I wonder if they're going to have like an Arcbound Worker here or something. Yep, Nature and Arcbound Worker. Just fine. It actually plays into our progression quite nicely. I think we go ahead and shock this in. Citadel gives them a... okay, so they're not going to be hitting land drops for days. It also gives them an indestructible thing for Nature's Claim. Okay. Wow, this is a bad turn. So if I tap out, I can actually die next turn quite easily. So I think what I have to do is I have to play Spike. This is the kind of crazy part about this matchup, right? Is like I could just die to any number of plays from them. Okay. Please don't sacrifice something else to it. Alright, so you're choking yourself a little bit on mana here. There's a chance we could die, but I really have to put my faith in the heart of the cards. Well, what, did it lose to Teamer Wreck or did it lose to 4-color Wreck? Six. Okay, so they're tapping. Okay, so they probably have Nature's Claim here, right? And they're just kind of setting up the kill. So we really need to draw an instant speed burn spell. Skullcrack would be ideal. You know what's not ideal? Monastery Swift Spear. Seems like a terrible card to draw here. That does nothing, as they shouldn't. Now, they play around Boulder Path, or do they have to go for the kill because otherwise they're dead? Looks like they're going for the kill. Just incentivize to block Ravager here. Yep. Blaze would have done it there, too. Not won the game, but would have blown out that line. But like I said, they're kind of incentivized there to go for that line. Yeah. Beyond that, I really... This hand's pretty good. Definitely a keep. Got the one drop into multiple pieces of interaction. Wouldn't mind drawing another land, which is kind of crazy, but sometimes that's just how these hands line up. Not ideal, but we get the Searing Blaze out of our hand here. It's the card that makes our hand the most awkward in terms of how we play our spells. Sorry, I'm not ignoring you guys in chat. It's just this matchup is very, very intense. Please don't be Hangerback Walker. Of course it's Hangerback Walker. Why wouldn't it be, right? So, I know I'm opening myself up to Nature's Claim, and I fully understand that, but at the same time, I can't just sit here and hold up mana all day. Yep, there's a Ravager. Our opponent might get hit in the playing too cute stage of the game here. You really want to main phase that Nature's Claim. I said, you really don't want to get too cute with your Nature's Claims here. Shouldn't have played their land, especially if they were going to Ancient Stirrings. I don't think they would have tapped out if they had another Nature's Claim, so I'm just going to play the game as we play it and hope they don't top deck one. If they do, they do. So they have one unknown in hand. Arcbound Worker is not relevant here. Walking Ballista, I don't think is relevant here. If they had a Hardened Scales in play, This could end up being relevant, but I don't think it matters. At this point, I just don't want to die. Let's go ahead and do this here. This should nut us the win because they got too cute with their Nature's Claim. They should just Nature's Claim their Darksteel Citadel main phase. So if we were dependent on the smash for the win, we would have had to path the Arcbound Ravager. But since we have the Skull Crack and we clearly have the win here, yeah, the Ravager really could have made things awkward, but I don't think you have enough damage, friends, so that really doesn't matter. Sack that. Like, if they had Hardened Scales in play, this play line would be lethal. But apparently they're going to shoot themselves, apparently, I guess. I don't know. Yep, looks like they're going for the Walking Ballista, shoot the controller, win on my own terms. All right. Thoughts on the deck? First thought, I hate Eldrazi Tron. Second thought, I hate Eldrazi Tron. Third thought, I hate Eldrazi Tron. Beyond that, deck seems functional. I'm liking the 20th land, obviously, after the mana screw issues we had yesterday. Beyond that, I really don't have a lot to add. Like, the list seems fine. I still think the Incinerator versions are better, especially if we're in an Eldrazi Tron heavy meta. Like, the Turbo Incinerator is probably still our best play in that matchup, which kind of sucks, honestly. Beyond that, I mean, the deck's fine. Not a whole lot more I can say. The deck is fine. It's solid, it's functional, it has bad matchups, Eldrazi Tron being the primary thing in the meta right now. I think once the Uro players realize, or the control players realize that Uro is still the best thing you can be doing with control, Burn will be a little less well-positioned. But I think for now, other than Eldrazi Tron and a little bit of Dredge, there aren't too many matchups that I don't want to run across. Hardened Scales is tough, but beatable. I'd rather play against Hardened Scales than Eldrazi Tron. But beyond that, don't really have a whole lot. So, gonna finish this up for the YouTube folks and spend a couple seconds here chatting with the chat here.